Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome to the show, everybody. Yes, another dealer time straight up. 6:41 into AM we're starting. And April, I saw your comment, and you're not wrong. I would try to get you more than 20 minutes today. Some technical difficulties as we're getting things underway. But here's what we got to get into today, okay? First and foremost, I'm going to jam-pack so much into this 20, 30 minutes. But defense star of the show. Nolan Smith, the star of the defensive show. Turnovers, the star of the show. Special teams, star of the show. Jalen Hurts' return. Oh, Dallas Goedert, stiff arms galore for 20 yards straight. Star of the show. Jalen Hurts. Here's the way I could describe Jalen Hurts' performance. Awesome. Terrible. Clutch. That's how I would describe Jalen Hurts' performance in his first game back since completing one pass against the Commanders 3 weeks ago. Awesome. 6 for 6 start. Like, the rust wasn't an issue for Jalen Hurts. Whatever happened in the middle of this game was terrible. And let me just get right into this. Jalen Hurts, 6 for 6 to start the game. Then 0 for 7. And I know some of those were throwaways, but good God, man. And then 7 for 8 to close out the game. My takeaway on Jalen Hurts, because the quarterback is the sexy position, so let me just start there. My takeaway for Jalen Hurts is this. I would have been terrified if that drive at the end of the third quarter never happened. I'd be not just pushing the panic button, I'd be doing jumping jacks up on the panic button. That's what I would be doing. But Jalen Hurts did what he has done in, quote, bad games this season, which is still show up clutch. After starting out 6 for 6, then going 0 for 7, he goes 7 for 8 to end the game. To start the game, 6 for 6 with a touchdown. Middle of the game, obviously 0 for 7, no touchdowns. End of the game, 7 for 8 and a touchdown. If he didn't have that great rollout completion to Devontae Smith, if he didn't check at the line of scrimmage by reading a defense, which is what some critics always say he can never do, checks at the line of scrimmage, sees what the defense is giving him, goes to the Dallas Goedert play. A.J. Brown makes a block while he apparently was inspired by whatever that book was. I forget the name of it. But anyway, A.J. Brown makes the block. Dallas Goedert cuts to the outside, slides up the line of scrimmage, and then makes the catch, and then just completely – what was the guy's name? Carrington? Something like that? I don't know. I'll get to it. Dallas Goedert is now his daddy. He just adopted that man. And he goes into the end zone for the 16-3 lead. Unfortunately, there's a missed PAT there by Jake Elliott. But he was clutch. Jalen Hurts was absolutely clutch in this game. The middle of the game had me worried as hell. And then in the third quarter and fourth quarter, he became the guy that he has been for the majority of the season. The running game was good. It wasn't great. The biggest run was a 17-yard run by Saquon Barkley. And the fact that he was still averaging over 5 yards per carry and the fact that he ended up with 119 yards, I feel spoiled because I'm looking at the game. I'm like, well, when's Saquon going to break one? And his biggest break was a 17-yard gain. And then he ends the game with a run that could have gone to the house. But instead, he did the smart thing and he just got down. You know, going into the game, he needed 472 yards to catch Terrell Davis. And I read Alex Coffey's article on Inquirer.com, and it's a great piece where it seemed like she talked to Terrell Davis. And he was just like, yeah, nobody talks about my record. All-time rushing record for rushing yards in a season, including postseason. That's pretty significant. So he goes out there, and Saquon, instead of getting whatever it would have been, an extra 60 yards maybe, I'll have to go back and do the math, he just goes, that's all right. It would have put him close to 200 yards for the game. Or, excuse me, would have put him close to 180 yards for the game. That's a nice little jumping off point when you still got 3 other games to talk about. But running game got going late to help close things out. Jalen Hurts got things going back on track to end the game as well. And overall, if he didn't have that third quarter drive, I would have been very much concerned about whoever the Eagles were going to draw next. Now we know it's not going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they lost last night to the Commanders. Another clutch performance by Jaden Daniels. Wow. Baker Mayfield with an awful fumble. But bottom line, the Commanders are now going on to face the Detroit Lions, the 1 seed in Detroit Rock City. And the Philadelphia Eagles will take on the winner of tonight's Minnesota Vikings game and the LA Rams. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. I don't care who it is. The easier path, I think beyond the shadow of a doubt, is the LA Rams. You bring the Rams on, I don't have much doubt that the Eagles can do exactly what they did to them, a month and a half ago, and do it again in South Philly this time. Hey, LA, yeah, you want to come out this way? Yeah, come out, let's party. Hey, Minnesota, you like your dome, do you? Come out South Philly, baby. How'd that work out the last time you visited the Eagles in the postseason? Huh? So it doesn't bother me. Don't bother me none. What does bother me is Nakobe Dean likely being done. Just done for the season. Ankle injury definitely has you concerned, as you would assume. Oren Burks is a good player. He got things started off on a great foot when it came to the forced fumble on the kickoff. But Nakobe Dean has been playing at such a high level, and he's been playing at such a high level next to Zach Bond that I hate losing that. And one of the things, I think it was actually Lane Johnson. It was either Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata in the locker room that just said they push each other so much. Like those two guys, Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, they have been so good this year, in part because they are pushing one another to be better. It really sucks for Nakobe Dean. I know a lot of people had written him off. I was not one of them. And he turned out to have a damn good year, man. A damn good year. One of the people I did write off, at least for this season, and I believe to quote me, Nolan Smith is not in my immediate plans with the Eagles. Like if I'm running the Eagles, I'm not looking at Nolan Smith to really do anything for me. I didn't trust the idea that a rookie was complaining about how his shoulder sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work. And as I said yesterday on the postgame show, he was talking about how it's his baby. It's like my baby. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I was like, one, I don't get the analogy at all of a baby. And two, excuse me? I'm sorry, have you been in the league for 10 years? No? And you got a shoulder issue already, where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Well, he had a little procedure in the offseason. And whenever that procedure did, mixed in with his hard work, dedication, as you'll hear from Nick Sirianni, love of the game, it all came together after, well, even a little bit before, but especially after Brandon Graham went down against the Rams. And after that game, when we did the show, I said, the next man up has to be Nolan Smith. Like, I'm not expecting Howie Roseman to go out and get anybody off the street. I am 100% thinking the Eagles are going to focus on Nolan Smith. And really, ever since the bye week, Nolan Smith has been one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. And we talk about win percentage rate and all that stuff. He is off the charts with that. He has exceeded my expectations so much this year. When I think about expectations going into the season and guys that have just went beyond, I mean, the number one guy is Zach Bond, without question. Jalen Carter, I knew was going to have a step forward this year, but the challenge was there without Fletcher Cox and all that stuff, being a leader, blah, blah, blah. He has stepped in even more so than I thought he would. Nakobe Dean has exceeded expectations. I mean, Devin White was the guy that was supposed to come in here and take over and be the starting linebacker next to whoever. It was supposed to be Devin White and Nakobe Dean. It turned out to be not at all. So he's played really well. But then I also look at Nolan Smith as exceeding expectations. And when Brandon Graham went down and that moment of opportunity knocked on his door, Nolan Smith answered. And I couldn't be happier for him. I couldn't be more happy to be wrong. He just kept it coming. And yesterday helped set the tone. He played a man possession. The Nolan Smith numbers yesterday, what really jumped out to me is, again, getting things started off on the right foot. The Green Bay Packers in the first quarter ran 10 plays. Nolan Smith had 4 tackles in those 10 plays. He had a QB hit, he had a sack, and he had a tackle for loss. That's a nice little start to the game for Nolan Smith. And then to help bookend the game, well, the game was bookended with practically a Nolan Smith sack. First quarter, fourth quarter. We'll let you hear what Nolan Smith had to say after the game because it's inspirational, to say the least. As far as Bookgate goes, with A.J. Brown, he said he's always had the book. He said he's read it before. He said he's read it on the sideline before. I say this as someone who worked 11 years on Sunday Night Football behind the scenes and could see every camera angle. I'm going to tell you right now, if that's something, and it's not just, I'm not just speaking for, and I'm not speaking for Sunday Night Football, I'm just speaking to someone who's been on that truck and know what people in the TV business are looking for. There's no way in hell. No way. A.J. Brown has that book. There's no way he has that book on the sidelines and it's not being caught on camera. And there's no way no other television broadcast isn't running with that. Not running with it in the, what's this guy doing? How dare he? Like, oh, look at this. Look how funny this is. He's reading a book on the sidelines. Somebody pointed out to me in the postgame show yesterday, well, the book did look worn, so I think he has done it before. I'm like, I'm not saying he hasn't read the book. I'm not saying he doesn't travel with the book. I'm not saying he reads that book every halftime. I'm just saying if he had that book on the sidelines throughout the entire season, there's no way a cameraman isn't picking that up. They're literally perusing the sidelines, looking for weird stuff. Whether it's one teammate yelling at another teammate, a coach and a quarterback having a conversation, guys on the bench just yucking it up. Like, there was earlier in the game they caught Saquon Barkley going up to the offensive line, just talking to the offensive line. They're just looking for stuff. If A.J. Brown had that book on the sidelines all season long, there's no way it wasn't picked up by a camera at any point this season. There's no way. They're looking for it. And then they got it. This Fox broadcast, kudos to them. They got it. Now, what did I think about it? I hated it. To me, it was the definition of you're talking to me, and I'm just like, on my phone. For the people on the podcast, I'm holding my phone up to the camera like I'm ignoring you. This is the international sign for you're not important enough for me to look at or pay attention to. That's what that is. So A.J. Brown sitting there on the sideline when he hadn't had a catch to that point in the game, and what he ended up with, only one catch in the ballgame. That ain't good. I don't like that. 3 targets, 1 catch for 10 yards. That's all he had in the game. And at that point, when he was caught with the book on the sideline, no catches. A.J. Brown said basically no big deal. It's the first time he caught me with it. Jalen Hurts did not appear bothered after the game by A.J. Brown having the book. He said he's seen him with the book before, but didn't say he saw him on the sidelines with the book. But yeah, bottom line is Philadelphia Eagles won a playoff game. They beat the Packers at home. They did what they were supposed to do, win. If you would have told me I predicted a 10-point win, they won by 12. I'm pretty happy about that. The defense was dominant. Darius Slay in yesterday's game. Oh, my goodness gracious. Darius Slay has been saving every notch of speed this entire year for that interception at the start of the second quarter. I mean, that really helped get things going. I mean, talk about the Oren Burks forced fumble, and then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. wrestles it away from the Packers under the scrum. Eagles start out after the touchdown there 7-0. They get a field goal later in the first quarter, go up 10-0. And then Darius Slay during the Green Bay Packers drive that went from the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter, getting that interception, clutch. Eagles, unfortunately, not able to do anything with it, but robbed them of a possession, helped get the defense going, like I said. They get another interception to help ice the game. Of all people, Quentin Mitchell gets his first NFL interception, this one coming in the postseason. If he's not going to have a pick in the entire year, in the entire regular season, you might as well start picking people off in the postseason. That's fun to say. I love alliteration. So that was good to see that. And Zach Bond. Oh, my goodness gracious. Zach Bond to help cap off the first half and kill a drive. There are a couple of things that where the Packers really shot themselves in the foot in trying to get back into this game. Number one, the guy I was praising as a kicker going into this game was Brandon McManus out of Temple University. And the Packers had a 13-play, only 37-yard drive that went 7 minutes and 37 seconds. They then settled for a 38-yard field goal that Brandon McManus booted right, I believe it was. Pushed it right. No bueno. 13 plays, 37 yards, 7 minutes, 37 seconds of football, all for nothing. And then on their next possession, they have a nice drive that ended with the Zach Bond interception at the end of the second quarter. Eagles got the ball back. Didn't do anything with it, unfortunately. Dallas Goedert didn't get the pass interference call, although he should have. Was another incompletion, by the way, for Jalen Hurts, unfortunately. And then the Eagles close out the first half 10-0. They get the ball back to start things off in the second half. Couldn't get anything going yet. They fall into a 2nd and 12, never recovered from that. Braden Mann had that 62-yard punt that was a bit of a game changer there because they got buried deep in their zone, deep in their territory. Brady Mann boots the hell out of it, flips it to the 16-yard line, and then the defense is able to take over despite a pass interference. Then they allow the 12-play, 76-yard, 5-minute, 47-minute field goal drive to make it 10-3, and then this is when Jalen Hurts was clutch. Jalen Hurts on a 3rd and 3 is clutch to Devontae Smith, rolling out of the pocket, eyes downfield, hits Smitty for 28 yards, and then Dallas Goedert has a touchdown on that very same drive. On that drive, 3 for 3 for Jalen Hurts, including that touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert. Jake Elliott misses the field goal, or misses the point after, 16-3. Another defensive stand, despite and then at the end of the second or third quarter into the fourth quarter, the Packers get their only touchdown of the game. They make it a 16-10 game. Eagles then run the fake tush push, which is incomplete, then convert on a 4th and 1 with Jalen Hurts. And then they get the field goal to go up 19-10, and then get the extra added bonus with another field goal to help end that game to make it a 22-10 Eagles victory. So when it comes to Nolan Smith, clutch as clutch can be. When it comes to Jalen Hurts, the good, the bad, and the clutch. That's the way you could certainly describe it again when it comes to Jalen Hurts. As far as what they had to say after the game, Nolan Smith. Here's your head coach, Nick Sirianni, on Nolan Smith overall.
Yeah, Nolan has just continued to get better. Nolan, I gave him a game ball in there because just his efforts. I love Nolan Smith. I mean, I want my kids aren't going to play defensive end. I know that. My 2 sons aren't going to play defensive end. They're not going to have the genes to do so. But I want my sons to play football like Nolan Smith. As hard, like before my kids go out to play any sport, I say have fun, play hard, be physical, and that guy is the definition of those things. He has fun out there. He has fun with his teammates. His teammates love him. He plays hard as I've ever seen anybody play. And this dude is a physical guy. I mean, I can't say enough about the way he plays this game. He loves this game. You love guys like that.
I love when Nick Sirianni gets an excuse to talk about how much he loves a player. And if you're his head coach, if you're just a fan of the Eagles, that's why you gotta love Nolan Smith as well. Here's Nolan Smith on Nolan Smith and his 2 sacks in the game when it comes to taking down Jordan Love, who doesn't get sacked that much.
Man, both of them, actually, my D tackles. Man, my D tackles had a good rushes, and we set it up with the games. But man, my D tackles, man, shout out to Milt, man. I might give Milt half of my playoff check, man, because we was joking about it.
Milt Williams in the locker room, like, say what? Excuse me? We don't have a playoff check? All right. How do you not love that? He doesn't even give credit to himself. He gives credit to the D-line. His D tackles. How beautiful is that? That's a wonderful thing. The guy couldn't be more like Brandon Graham if he tried to be more like Brandon Graham as far as just happy-go-lucky and, hey, producing on the field. How about that? As far as the offense went, Nick Sirianni on the offense and what they were able to, what they weren't able to do today. I like the way he put it.
You know, as an offense, we struggled a little bit as an offense. I don't think we had the game that we wanted to have on offense. But Jalen, I did a lot of good things. One thing that Jalen first of all, Jalen is a winner. He wins. I mean, no one can argue that, right? And the other thing is we know when we take care of the football, the things that happen when we take care of the football. And Jalen,
you win games when you take care of the football, obviously. And the Eagles didn't have a turnover. Excuse me. Here's the thought that went through my head yesterday, and this is the only time I really ever thought of McNabb and Hurts. And this is the thing. One of the things during the McNabb era that people would talk about is he doesn't throw interceptions. Well, he doesn't take risks. He never take risks with the football. Donovan doesn't throw interceptions because he never throws a 50-50 ball or something like that. And they're always brought up as a detriment to McNabb. For Jalen Hurts, yesterday he seemed to be way too cautious with the football. Way too cautious with the football. But in his head, he's thinking defense is dominant. And I doubt zero that that he's going through the game thinking I have to show up, I have to be dominant. If he's observing the game, which he is, defense is being dominant. He knows he can run the ball with Saquon Barkley. Again, Saquon wasn't playing great. He still averaged 5 yards per carry. If I just don't make a mistake against the Green Bay Packers, we're going to win this game. So he took 0 risks yesterday. And when the throws were there, he made the throws. And that's why I go to, again, 6 for 6 to start out, 0 for 7 in the middle of the game, and then 7 for 8 to end the game with a touchdown. That's pretty damn good. So Jalen wasn't taking those risks, and that's what jumped to mind yesterday. And when Nick Sirianni goes right to turnovers, that's what I think he's thinking. That's what I think that he's thinking. That Jalen just doesn't want to turn the football over. As far as Jalen on his performance,
it was execution. It was rhythm. We gotta find our rhythm early in the game, and I think first and foremost our defense played their tails off, and created turnovers, and I think ultimately, when you have those opportunities, you got to take advantage of them, and that starts with me.
All right, well, that's fair. You give it due to the defense. Do love that. As far as the offense struggling, Saquon Barkley, let's just say he didn't care that the numbers weren't there. Well, that the offense wasn't there in the middle of the game. It's the way they finished, I guess.
But do you feel like you said it doesn't matter, but in order to go where you guys want to go, does it have to be elevated, do you think, going forward?
Yeah, we got to be our biggest critic, and that's what we're going to be, and we're going to see where we can improve on. But at the end of the day, the opinions that's for you guys. Only thing that really matters is how we win. Whether we throw for 400 yards, we rush for 400 yards, or we win the game 3-0. I don't give a f***. I just want to win. And I think that's the mindset of the team. I know that's the mindset of the team, and we'll go back, we'll watch film, we'll improve, and get ready for whatever we got next.
Yeah, I ultimately feel good, and I saw someone in the comments there ask me, well, what about Jalen Hurts? How do you feel about him? I feel great about Jalen Hurts. Yesterday was the game I expected from Jalen Hurts. I didn't expect him to play well. I certainly did not. I'll say this, but I didn't expect him to start out 6 for 6. I thought the 0 for 7 would come at the start of the game. Instead, it was the middle of the game. I feel great about Jalen Hurts because this is exactly what I expected in terms of overall clutch when he needed to be clutch, and some struggle there in between. 0 for 7, a bit of a struggle. I love that this was his first game because I think that this is going to be his worst game of the postseason. A game where he threw 2 touchdowns with a passer rating of 100 is going to be his worst game. I'm fully confident in saying that. He's only going to get better. Only going to get better. So that's what I look at there. What was there one more thing I wanted to get to, you guys? Oh, okay. A.J. Brown on Bookgate.
That's a book that I bring every single game. And, my teammates call it a recipe. That's the first time I heard that y'all got me on camera. But it's not the first game. It got a lot of points in there. It's a lot of mental game, a lot of mental parts about it. And, what's for me, this game is mental. I physically believe I can do anything and everything, but, I got to make sure I'm mental good. So it's something like how I refresh every drive. Regardless of if I score a touchdown or I drop a pass. I always go back to that book every drive.
Every drive, he goes back to that book. Good for A.J. Brown. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase. That's the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase in the Game Time app. Game, concert, comedy show, whatever the case might be. Download the Game Time app, use promo code FARZI, and get $20 off your first purchase. Let's not forget about Game Time picks. Filter out all the fluff. Get right down to it. The best seats and the best prices on the Game Time app. So once again, download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. April, good morning. It's T-Bro. What's up, T-Bro? Nino Brown, hello. What's poppin'? Shayna, hello. Fly Eagles fly. Go Birds, hell yeah. Sean Gillespie, hello. James Alexander, what's going on? Dunner, I'm about to be Dunner. Go Birds, absolutely. JB, good morning, everyone. Not happy with Hurts. He still came up in the clutch. Sean Kilray, Nolan Smith against the Packers, 8 tackles, 5 pressures, 4 hurries, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Keep it going. NJ Fishing Maniac, what's happening? Big Ben, you're who asked the question. Are you concerned about Hurts? I am not concerned about Hurts. QB, hello. Jonathan Loeb, AJ Brown, key block on touchdown pass. Absolutely, with that Dallas Goedert. That was great. AJ had a catch like 3 minutes into the first quarter, second possession. I didn't think he did. Maybe I looked at the game book or box score wrong. I'm pretty sure at halftime he did not have a catch. Now let me go back to my nerd notes. Is this it? Ba-da-boop, ba-doop, boop. Harp. Oh, you are correct. My bad. Miss Scusi. Oh, yeah. Six receptions by 6 different receivers. That's what it went down to. There you go. Sean Cohen, hello. Drew, hello. No lie, I am thrilled that Washington beat Tampa Bay. Fair enough. Dev, hello. Kevin, we won. You're damn right we did. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, everyone in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. My name is Mark Farzetta. Apologies for the brief show today. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning. I will see you guys then. Until then, go Birds, and Sixers suck. Yeah, I'll get more into that tomorrow. Don't you worry. See you guys then. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. Like and subscribe to The Farzy Show. See you guys tomorrow.